Welcome to Decker's Nursery. We're going through the first transition into fall, a little bit cooler temperatures, but it's a beautiful autumn day. These are the ones we look forward to all year. So I thought it was an appropriate time for me to redo my summer planters. Okay, so I brought them from my home. It's these two large ones here. So it's time for us to freshen these up. And the summer annuals did everything I had asked them to. These were beautiful all the way through the drought and the tough summer conditions. But the best thing about fall is the fall flowers. So what I wanted to get started with today is kind of show you the transition, how we go from summer and into fall and what's needed to keep your planters healthy and get ready for all these beautiful fall colors. So the first thing I evaluate is, can I continue to use any of these annuals? So I have some beautiful Angelonia over here. The sweet potato vine looks really good. And for those of you that haven't experienced it yet, when you pull this vine out at the end of fall, there may be a potato on there. So I'm going to try and keep both of the potato vines because they look so nice and there's no need to replace them. I did want to show you, this is a great tool that I keep around when I'm doing my containers. I can carry it with me. It's a pop-up garbage, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to take the root slayer, okay? This has serrated edges, so it makes it a little bit easier just to pop these out. So I stopped watering last week to let these dry out a little bit, knowing that it was getting close to the time to change the flowers. So the Angelonia still look nice, but the size of them, the scale's just not going to work. But that'll be one of the decisions you make. Some of the flowers that are still looking good, the summer annuals, the New Guinea impatiens still looks really nice. We're continuing to plant Angelonia. Some of the salvia, the hummingbirds are still active. That's a summer annual that you can use. And this is the pink Angelonia. So these summer annuals will continue to perform up until the first frost, and then they'll go south quickly. So if you want to continue, if you want to use those, it's a great option. It gives you another palette of colors to use. And, there's no, the reason they'll start looking better now is the temperatures are starting to get cooler. So nothing really performs ideally in those dog days of summer. Even though they can tolerate those high conditions, they always look better. Like my salvia this morning was magnificent. Like overnight it just popped again. Doubled the amount of flowers, and the brilliance of the color is so much nicer. So don't rule out the summer annuals. We still have a nice selection to play with, and when I start to put these together, you'll see how I can fit some of them in. So, all right, back to cleaning. All I'm doing is digging out as much of the roots as I can. Try to keep as much of the potting soil in, but don't leave any of the roots. It makes it hard for replanting. Okay, some of the tags are still there. They go away. And all right, see ya, Angelonia. This tool really makes the job a lot easier with that serrated edge. It's called the root slayer. Okay, then I just take it and I work this soil and just loosen it up. Okay, got one more here. All right, and we're gonna try and keep the sweet potato vine. So when I get to laying this out, I'll turn the pot and there you go. So that gives me, I like to keep the sweet potato not at front center, but just off to the side a little bit. Okay, do the same thing over here. Okay. Now I have to be careful I don't damage the potato vine. Here's another summer annual. Oh, these are dahlias. And you know what? These flowers came overnight with the cooler temperatures. I pretty much had given up on them before. So I always say no one likes the dog days of summer, even, summer annuals. This verbena is still in here, little touch of salmon. Might leave that. I can always pull it out in a little while. So, all right. So it's always a good idea to freshen your soil. So I've made it nice and loose. I got all the debris and the roots, the old roots out, but I want to bring the soil level up high enough so the flowers are showing. So it's a very common mistake. If you don't put enough soil in, the flowers are recessed and you end up missing part of it, or it takes them longer to fill in. So I'm just going to add a little bit more of the espoma potting soil. So whenever you're planting in a container, remember you have to use potting soil. If you use topsoil or compost, it retains moisture, and that's how the pots get damaged. So always use potting soil, and we always recommend the espoma potting soil. So a little bit more. I don't use a conventional trowel. I use this larger scoop. It's just a little less work for me. So, okay. And as I'm doing this, I'm kind of figuring out what I want to plant here. So I'm going to go through some of the fall annuals, okay? Again, these will all perform up till frost. So most of us know about mums, chrysanthemums. So we have them in all the primary colors: bronze, yellow, burgundy, white, and they come in different sizes. Okay, so we have 4-inch, 6-inch, and this one is a nice, a full 8-inch, and we have even a little bit larger. So the one thing I would caution you against with using chrysanthemums in your fall containers is they will not last all through the fall. The flowers are not, they have a limited time, okay? And it's based on temperatures and weather conditions, and they are magnificently beautiful, but they're not going to carry you up till Thanksgiving, okay? Most of us have experienced that. If you want to get mums into like your outdoor living areas, the bushel baskets are nice, and you can just set it in there, let it do its thing. Remember to care for it, water, and a little fertilizer doesn't hurt. And there's a lot of different size drop-ins, if you will. And the bushel basket is seasonal, very attractive. You can even do the cabbage and kale. So, and while I'm on that, that's the red boar cabbage. A little bit different textures. So the cabbage and kale, the ornamental cabbage and kale, they will last deep into the winter. So right around Thanksgiving, we get another truckload of them in for people that want to decorate their homes for the holiday, like for Thanksgiving. And they will, depending on how severe the winter is, they'll continue to be an addition to your gardening, your landscape gardens or your containers. So I do like using cabbage and kale in my fall containers. So again, they come in different sizes. These are the 4-inch with the burgundy center, and they work really nice as a front border, kind of in conjunction with the sweet potato vine. Like one of these can sit up front, and that you don't have to worry about it. If you want to use some mums, try using the 4-inch mums so that you can pop them out later and replace them either with another mum or something different like a celosia. The celosias are very pretty. These will go into the fall quite a while, up till the first frost. I pulled out a couple of perennials. So we have, these are Coreopsis and Gaillardia. Both of these are perennial, so before you throw them out, if you can dig a little hole, plant them in your garden. I planted a lot of these last year and they all came back fabulously, and they're actually getting quite large and filling the gardens nicely. So Coreopsis and Gaillardia are some of my favorites because it's going to give you that nice pop of color. So I'm going to set these back a little bit and still use them. So I'm going to use the smaller ones up towards the front. So what I need to find is something a little more decorative or seasonal for the back of the pot. So I'm going to go over a couple more. The ornamental grasses, the Pennisetum rubrum. This is a favorite for many of us. It makes you think of fall. That could work as a focal point. The Sweet William can work as a focal point. Okay, Celosia, again, this is my most common design right here when I'm planting for customers. I use the Celosia, Gaillardia, Coreopsis, and a small mum. So this is a 14-inch pot. And, that's a great combination, but I encourage you, get a little creative, try some of the ornamental peppers, and we're going to have a huge selection of these as we go through the fall. The other thing you can add to your fall containers is the gourds and the pumpkins. They can sit up in front. So for now, I'm going to opt on the Pennisetum rubrum, so I got to work to get this out. If you take these off of the bottom, it makes it a little easier. Okay, and I'm sure I don't need to show you how to get them into the soil, but just force them down so they make good soil contact. You don't want to have any air gaps in there when you're planting. You can put in a little more soil to fill in. So once you make your selections, it's very easy to do the planting. The problem I have in the fall is there's so many options. I can't really figure out what I want to do. So, and it's up to you whether you want to leave the sweet potato or maybe you have English ivy. Those trailing plants are fun. It gives you a lot of depth, makes the planter look a lot larger. It's just a really nice statement. So I have to fill in a little bit here. I can feel it as I'm planting. There's some air gaps in there. So why don't we try something different for this other pot? I'm going to work with the Celosia. Is going to be my focal point. So you have to be careful as you're getting them out of the pot. This pot didn't really need much soil, so I'm going to just freshen that as we go. And I think I really like the peppers. A little burgundy. And all right, and you work the roots a little bit. The root slayer is really good for this. Like if you want to get the roots coming out, use that serrated edge and just make some vertical slits, okay? Because they've been sitting in those pots and they get a little bit root bound. All right. Then I'm going to freshen and fill all the gaps with a little more espoma potting soil. The sweet potatoes, I'm a little off center here maybe. And we even have room for one more if I wanted over here on the side. So this, one of the things you want to consider is how are you going to be looking at the planter? So if this is the front, are you going to see it from all four sides or just from straight ahead? Gaillardias, I don't think anybody can overplant Gaillardias. So let's see if I can reach around there. Okay. So I really wanted to show you how easy this is. I may have been able to take a little more time on the placement and the balance, but those are things you get to decide. You know, let yourself feel a little creative, have some fun with it. You know, fall is just a great time to make that transition. If you do a good job, these planters will make it till the holiday season. You can pop the mum out later, and maybe you do a summer annual at that time, or just another Gaillardia or Coreopsis. But I hope this will incentivize you, give you a little inspiration, you know, start feeling a little bit festive for the fall, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the garden.